Good morning, all. Um, what a crazy world we're living in at the moment. Um, oh my God. Yeah, I'm talking about art at this time of Russia. Conflict with Ukraine feels a bit like uh, fiddling whilst Ukraine burns. But, I think this is true with also the other issues of climate change as well. Everybody's still fiddling, but still, my heart go out to all the people involved in the terror of war out there, um, and my great admiration to all those that have protested inside Russia. I mean, what courage you have! And it's like Yelena Kovalskaya or whatever her name is, the director of I've got to get her name right. Yelena Kovalskaya, the director of the Mayamod Center in Moscow, resigning and saying, um, you know, it was not possible to work for a murderer and take a salary from him. Amazing courage for somebody so prominent, and also I don't know if you heard about the classical musicians being asked by the West to, if they're going to perform in the West, they have to denounce publicly Putin and his regime's actions. I mean, that's a difficult thing for them to do, particularly if they are going to return home to Russia. And very cleverly, I don't know his name, but one of the classical musicians said, "Well, I denounce all violence." Of course I do, and that's as far as he could go. I mean, but again, I don't know if, have we got the courage to stand up in those situations? It certainly remains to be seen, and I just hope I never get tested to that extent. So anyway, thoughts with everybody on that. Thank you, Karen, for your heartfelt response the other day, and certainly, I understand the importance that art has in our lives as artists. And I can only imagine the pain of losing a partner and the bereavement and the absorption into your work that then helps in that process. I think that's true of most people. In moments of pain, the distraction into something that gives purpose and meaning and structure, I think that helps generally. I also had a conversation yesterday, very sweetly. Luke Hanneman phoned another artist whose work I've admired, and he spoke to me, and we we had again, what a joy to talk about art and our practices and the different approaches. Luke also, he occasionally streams from his studio, and I've seen a couple of his. Yeah, that was interesting. There were a number of points that perhaps I'll pick up and discuss in greater length at some point. But there are various things we discussed. I mean, he was basically sort of pointing out, that I am of my time, which I have to fully accept. I can't deny that, but that's partly why I've started doing this. Is to, I'm of an age now where I have those experiences, and I do have, I felt I needed to sort of participate in the cultural discussion that's going out there. So yeah, and artists being dysfunctional in a number of ways, and whether you listen to music in the studio, simple things like that. He does a lot, and I don't anymore. I like the intensity and the focus, and having to face myself in those moments. Things like that. Anyway, it was a great conversation, and thanks, Luke, for reaching out and making contact. It was a joy, and I'm sure there'll be other conversations to be had. Something else I throw out as a future point of discussion, because probably a lot of you know Jerry Saltz, an American art critic, whose work I like. I mean, he seems very down to earth. He's very honest about his own career and the problems facing, being an artist, giving that up, becoming a critic, and the struggles of even keeping that going. He understands the difficulty of it all, and he's very open and he's very down to earth about the response and his criticisms of things. So generally, but the other day he posted something that made me question, and that was that he doesn't believe subject matter is important. And so I had to then reconsider and think about my position, and I don't agree with him. I think it is important. Anyway, I'd be interested to know what you think. Any subject is fine. Anyway, have a good weekend. Have a great Friday, and again, thank you all for participating in this in these crazy times. Cheerio.